So, like I said, welcome back to the comic reading part 2 of Predator versus Wolverine. Like I said, if you missed the first half of this reading, check out the Twitch VODs, YouTube videos, past YouTube lives, kick VODs, all kinds of stuff. Dude Salty, I'm sure you know. And I will start setting up the camera and getting into this. Ta-da! Alright, Predator versus Wolverine. I don't remember all their names. Percy, Lashley, DeVito, and Sherman. Once again, like I said, if you missed the first half of this issue, feel free to catch up. Previous videos. Would this have spoilers? You haven't seen Wolverine? No spoilers. That was the first issue, just kind of going through it. This is the second issue, just going through it. Yeah, no spoilers. And here we are, number 3. This is where we left off. Let's see. We left off with a Predator going to the factory that X-23 was being made in. X-23. I mean, Weapon X, not X-23. Right, number 3. Turn up my mic. And I can't really get the camera any closer. Sorry for that. Let me see what zoom will do here. Not bad. Guess we'll keep that. And I'm gonna point and read it, and you guys can kind of follow along. You can see the pictures. I'm trapped under 2 tons of rubble at the bottom of a river, and he thinks he's got me, but I know something he doesn't. Hunting is elemental. You study dirt for tracks and spore. You stay downwind. You note what's growing or hatching or breeding. You know where to find water and shelter. It's not about the gear. You ever come across those trophy hunters who drop 20 grand to kill a grizzly or a lion with their laser sights and multi-caliber sniper rifles? You know they don't really know what they're doing. And the fancier the tech, the cockier you get. And the more detached you are from the musk and blood beat of the thing you want dead. In the right hands, the same job could be done with a simple blade. Or 3. Because he has claws. So does the other guy. Weapon X facility. The past. Adamantium density scan. Oh, I'm still in Fortnite. My bad. There we go. So this is a Predator. No, this is just a scan of his skeleton. Oh yeah, the Predator is looking at it. I don't remember much about my time with Weapon X. Flashes, like a short-circuiting TV plugged into my eyes. My body and my mind did not belong to me. Shick. Oh God. They had zeroed me out and filled me up with adamantium so that I was nothing more than a blade sheathed in meat. I had no moral code. I had no intelligent thought. I only knew how to hurt. Snicked. Snicked. I don't know how to do that. I need to figure out how to do that. Snicked. So the Yautja had found me at my most dangerous. And at my most vulnerable. This hunt began for simple reasons. I was a challenging prey.
Remember they said there was going to be bad storms today.
Then things grew more complicated. He was driven by pride and rage. Psst. I meant to say revenge there. Pride and revenge. Oh my god. But that day in the Weapon X lab, I think our story took on a whole other level of meaning. When he understood my skeleton was sleeved in adamantium, I became the ultimate trophy. What little I know of this time, I've learned by playing detective, patching together surveillance footage, recorded phone calls, mission reports. If the government is good at anything, it's stacking up reams of bureaucratic records. Yo, thank you for the follow. How do I say that? Brihimore? Brihimore? Am I saying that right? Yeah, this is intense. But there are some things beyond their reach and reckoning. Yo, what's up, Brihimore? We were both in a bad way. But things were about to get much worse. Weapon X was a joint project of the US and Canadian governments. It might have been a shadow organization, but when you've got billions of dollars sunk into a project, when you're a war machine employed by the geopolitical theater, a breach of security is a global emergency. They didn't know who the Yautja was. But he'd royally pissed them off. Control, this is Schwartz. The bogey's not responding to our hails, but we just gave him a wake-up call with a hardpoint. Please advise, over. Schwartz, this is Control. Keep those birds alert, but do not otherwise engage unless that bogey flies. We're scrambling ground crew. We believe there's an asset on board worth more than a fleet of F-16s. I don't know what the hell kind of vessel this is, Control, but it's on the move. Permission to fire. Crew. We lost Weathers. I repeat, Weathers is down. Schwartz, this is Control. Please advise on its flight path so we can arrange an intercept. Is it headed east, northeast? Is this a Russian or Chinese operation? Up. I said it's headed up. What did you say? As in it's headed for the fucking moon. Fire I will. Rage. Berserker rage. That was my default emotion. Target hit, but it's not enough. Turning back at 70,000 feet. Boom. The mission report says the hull wasn't breached by a missile strike. So I can only assume I was to blame for it. The blast probably provoked me, like a stone striking a hornet's nest. I would have been ripped out of the ship and into the void. Yo, Wolverine doesn't have a freaking face right now, and it's crazy. Control, the bogey is off radar and out of my sight. I believe it's left the atmosphere, but I've got eyes on something. What is it, Schwartz? Report. I can't say, except it came off the ship. I'll pass along the coordinates of the impact site. But whatever it is, There's not going to be much of it left. Whatever weapons Professor Thornton built in this world could not compare to the horrifying advancements of space. But brushing up against one weapon helped him improve on another. Hey, this is a sick page. I love this page right here. One week ago. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out my broken history. My skin might be clean of injury, but my brain is a gummed up mess of scar tissue from mind wipes and memory plants. Sometimes I go back to places half remembered or forgotten entirely to try to shake loose some rust. I need a drink. Let me get that again. That includes the ruins of the Weapon X lab. In a lead-lined vault, in a lead-lined container, I found this. I figured if I unshelled it, it would only be a matter of time. He would come. And this time, I would set the terms of our agreement. We would end this hunt where it began, in the wild north, where the only law is that of tooth and claw. Japan. Muramasa's estate, the past. I've never known peace. But in Japan, I got right up to the edge of it. Maybe it sounded like a bunch of hippie nonsense, but I've never felt as much a connection between my mind, body, and the earth as when I studied under the madman swordsmith Muramasa. Muramasa was known as the greatest swordsmith in the world. His method was based on constant refinement. The Japanese steel tamahagane is heated and purified and forged and coated and curved and polished, a process that demanded impossible patience. To him, I was ore. It might take years to remove all the impurities and blurs and warped edges, but he believed it would be worth it. He believed that one day I would become his strongest sword, but that day was long off. You're good, Wolverine, but you're not the best there is. Not until you can beat this old man. That's only because you won't let me use my claws. When the day comes, you can best me with a sword alone. You'll be able to fight 10 or more, or 100 men. What's wrong? You have been my student for a long time, Logan-san. Snicked. But today, we fight together. I had changed several times over since the first time we met, and the Yautja had adapted as well. Ooh, look at him. So this is the end of issue 3. My boy got freaking geared up to it. Here's a cover. I believe that's the default cover is what they show us on these. Hey, present day, Canada. I stalked the helmet in the meadows like a bait station next to a deer stand. I waited a week, and then he came. He would never stop coming until my head was his. Okay, Wolverine, chill. Snicked. Of course, he knew it was an ambush. I was counting on that. I set up an obvious rudimentary trap. Enough to give him some sense of danger and confidence in avoiding it. Cocoon. I needed to get hit. Ah, I need my blood on the ground. Because once he got a taste of it, and once he got a hold of that helmet, he'd think he'd won already. Suppose I could have rigged the helmet, poisoned the air filter. Damn, boy takes a shot. Boy takes a fat shot right here. Nested it with a bomb in the helmet? Yeah. Talking about rigging the helmet. Nested it with a bomb. Okay. Dogs were barking. But over and over again, technology has been the out just failing. He surrounded himself with it, just like he surrounded himself with trophies, like a boast like a boast or compensation of some shit. I feel so wrong cursing, but I have to when he does it. To feel right about talking down to him, to feel right about taking him down. I needed to prove that I was deadlier than the death he wore. Sorry. Reading was so split up there from the dog barking and me not understanding anything. Alright, we're back to the past. Japan, Muramasa's estate. Little help would be nice, Muramasa. Shk. This is not my enemy. Shing! If I help you, it will be like the parent who does a child's chore or schoolwork when they whine. You will never learn. Scraw! Shit. This thing has clearly been studying your claws, your fighting style, and the martial arts. I'm detecting everything from Shorin Ryu to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Someone is going to die today. Let us see who is the better student. He throws his sword. If you die, I'll forge you into a sword. And if this thing dies, it will make a worthy substitute. Either way, I'll be entertained. But remember, Logan-san, if you truly want to know you're the best, keep your claws and your anger sheathed. Sometimes a smell in a cabinet or a song on the radio track can bring back a lost memory. The sight of the bear skull helmet and those claws, it blew some of the dust out of my skull. I remember the hibernating grizzly. I remember luring the young Yautja into that cave. That armor, that regalia of his, it's a statement. No different than the Comanches wearing war paint or the berserkers draping themselves in wolf pelts. He's been waiting all this time in the cold black cave of space, and he's rising up now to pull me into his jaws and finish things as they began. Whoosh, choo. Fuck this. We're doing things my way. Snicked. Come on, let's go, claw to claw. Snick. The fuck? You going to hide? Get back here, don't you run away from me. Logan's son. That thing was not running from you. He didn't come here to fight me any more than he came to fight your enemies. I'm sure you two will meet again, assuming we survive the hand. Westchester, New York, the past. My enemies saved me in Japan. We're at Xavier School, the X-Men. But it was my friends who trapped me in New York. Wolverine, you missed dinner with the students again.
What are you talking about? You're working on my leg suit. Look at this.
He said, here's an example of a completed sleeve. Would love to do more sleeve projects. I've never done one on the leg before. Legit, you're hacking away. You've done one side. You're doing the back side. You just have to do the front. Like, what do you mean?
Sorry. Sorry, Chuck. Gotta make my rounds. I'm not exaggerating when I say they spend half the meal looking at your empty chair, especially Kitty and Kurt. They're better off without me here. Couldn't you take a night off from keeping us all safe? Ooh, he's got the dots. I got a long trail of bodies behind me. Ooh. Most are enemies. Some are friends. My skin don't scar, but my heart sure does. Ugh. I try not to get close to anybody. I try not to call any place home for long, because death always finds me. Yo, Xavier. Cool. Stupidly let myself believe Westchester was an exception. Logan, what's happening? We're under attack. Get the professor someplace safe. Where are you going? Those missiles hit the upper floors. That's where the kids will be. Head downstairs. Don't go outside. Anybody up here? Kitty. Kitty, you okay? Logan, look out. Literally says Bamf. Bamf. Kurt, no. Go away. Excellent suggestion. Damn it, Elf. Stay the hell out of this. That goes for all of you. Keep away from me. You know, the art style, like, changed. I dig it, though. But Logan, you don't have to do this alone. I don't want your help, Nightcrawler. This just proves what I always knew. I shouldn't be here. Logan. Rogue, is that you? Logan, what should I do? Nothing. You should do nothing. Snacked. I can touch him if I take my gloves. If I take off my gloves and touch him, I can... No. You've got me, okay? Just don't hurt her. Don't hurt anyone else. You've got me. Thunk. I hadn't given up, but I'd given up fighting him here. We could take this to the stars, as far away from these kids as possible. Hey, bub. You sure you got the right guy? Snicked. I'm double the trouble. Danny, you shouldn't have. Ugh. You shouldn't have come. Guten Tag. You're supposed to study your prey for weaknesses and vulnerabilities. A soft underbelly, a nest of eggs. The Yautja had found mine. It was the friends and chosen family I had found among the X-Men. Scraw. But they also turned out to be my strength. The Yautja managed to cloak himself and scramble back to the ship, but I couldn't let something like that happen again. Present day Canada. So I lured him back to a place where it would just be the two of us. The river is where I would make my last stand. The good mud waited for us here. The dog can smell 100,000 times better than a human. Bees can see ultraviolet light. Birds can sense magnetic fields. I'd observed the Yautja long enough to know he registered heat signatures. The mud was my primitive version of a cloaking device. He stabs the mud, then he saw an eyeball in. Oh my god, I gave him a blind eye. When I laid down on him then, it was the gravity of 100 years of war. I admired him as much as I hated him. Snicked. I imagine the feeling was mutual. Zzz. He cooked me with a few thousand volts. and whipped out what looked like a ceremonial dagger to finish the job. I let him make a sheath of me, Ayo. We would end this eye to eye, tasting the blood in each other's breath. For a fatal moment, we were one and the same. I thought that was the end, but he refused to die on my terms. Beep, beep, beep. I didn't recognize the numbers, but I knew a countdown when I saw one. He was going to get a trophy, even if he claimed it in his grave. But here's the thing about desire. Once you get what you want, you realize that wanting was the real pleasure. So in those final bloody seconds, when the hurt finally ended, I hope he felt a century of disappointment slam into his heart. Not sure how many days passed, but when I finally pulled myself out of that smoking crater, I felt like a lit cigar crushed out in an ashtray. There was an emptiness inside me. It took me a while to realize where it came from. I missed having him out there. Nothing makes you feel more alive than a gun pressed to your temple or the cold lick of a knife at your neck. So I was going to be a little deader every day I lived without him coming for me. At least he left me a dangerous trophy. I see my reflection in its blade. I'll remember its keen edge every day of my damned life. The end. Here's the cover I want the most from this series, but I don't need it because I have this book. Maybe one day. Peach Momoko, Predator vs. Wolverine, #1. Here's a bunch of variants. There's a Scotty Young one as well. That's one I would also get, but it's another #1, so I'd rather get the Peach Momoko one. These are all #1 variants. They're all pretty cool, right? We are done with the story. Here's #2. Oh wow, that is sticky stuff right down there. Okay, that's a cool #2 one. Oh, there we go. I get that. #3s. Probably get this one, #3. And then for 4s. Oh yeah, definitely this one. And on the end here. Bunch of different Wolverine heads. And his claws right here. Another pair. Alright. Yeah, Predator vs. Wolverine. I enjoyed this. Not my favorite Predator versus Marvel installment so far. The only other one I'm reading is Predator versus Spider-Man. Yeah, I'd probably rate this like an 8 out of 10. I don't enjoy all of the hopping around in time. I understand why you do it, but not my favorite. Okay. If you want more, if you want to catch the first part and the second part, they're both going to be on my YouTube channel. And while you're doing that, check me out on Twitch, Kick, Trovo, YouTube, Tood Salty, TOOD Salty. And yeah, catch you next time with another comic reading.